Hi guys, so in this video we are going to explore some different variations of scenarios using sales order. So even in the future we will be seeing a lot of videos on sales order with the real life scenarios and different variations of scenarios using a sales order. So now let's quickly create a sales order. That one. Customer. Okay, the warehouse, everything is selected, so that's the sales order. And I believe it is of order type. It is of order type sales order. Okay. So now let's try to add some item in stock. So 10 quantity. Let me add another item. That one. Let's say there is 10 quantity as well. Let's add one more item. That one. Let's also keep it the 10 quantity. So there are 3 lines of item that needs to be delivered to a customer. So we are also confirming this. So due to certain reason, I'm not able to, even though I committed to deliver all of this order, I confirmed it with the customer, but for some reason I will not be able to deliver all of or do the shipment of all of this order in one go, right? So I'm going to partially do multiple shipments for all of this order. I already communicated with the customer and the customer agreed to it, right? So this particular the product, right, it has some additional discount which is of a 10% discount, right? So I'm promising the customer that the discount period is almost going to be finished, so to avoid any problems and to avoid that the discounts may get over, I'm promising the customer that as a high priority I will deliver you the entire line, that is in the entire alloy wheel 14-inch as soon as possible. So of course we have already reviewed this during the procurement module tutorial, that there is a concept of deliver now, where I can fill in the delivery quantity that I'm planning to deliver right away to the customer. So I'm going to just put the deliver now as 10 because that's the quantity and that's the line that I'm planning to deliver right away. So once the deliver now is put, I'm now asking the warehouse worker to just go and pick this item by printing the picking list and sharing it with the warehouse worker. So while printing the picking list, the system will show initially all the items that are available in the system, available in the sales order line, but I do not want to, of course, deliver all of them in one shot, right? So we need to be very careful here and we need to make sure we change it to deliver now. When we change it to deliver now, here you see that the line is automatically changed to the 10 quantity of the alloy wheel. So now I'm going to communicate this to my warehouse worker and I'm going to print a picking list and share it with the warehouse worker. So the picking list is getting printed and also getting posted. So that's the picking list, and that picking list is only having one, and once they pick it, they will mark it and maybe pass it to a person responsible for updating the system, and once they pass it back to the person responsible to update in the system, since it's been picked successfully, I will quickly do a registration to mark that it has been already picked. So going here and then updating it to all, and this action is completed and it's been picked. Now it's not in the shelf anymore. Once the registration is posted, you will already see there is an impact in the inventory in the transaction, and it's been deducted and issued from the inventory. So now that it's been picked, now I'm going to post the packing slip, meaning I'm going to deliver it to the customer. So I'm going to post the delivery. So in the delivery also, it is marked as picked, so it will only show you the picked quantity, right? So that's going to be 10 of that particular item. So I'm going to just pick it. And once the picking is done, finally I will be sending an invoice to the customer, and the customer will be doing a payment, or customer would be waiting for all the shipment to complete, and then consolidate all the invoices, and he'll pay the invoice if needed. But in this case, I'm going to issue an invoice per shipment. So this shipment, I'm going to issue an invoice. So the invoice, the packing slip is selected, so it will only invoice those quantity which are packing slip posted. In this case, it is only going to be the 10 quantity of alloy wheel, which is clearly displayed in the invoice report. So now this is perfectly done, and you will see that there is a packing slip which is here, and there is also a invoice which is posted. And if you also go to the general tab and check the line quantity, it will give you a whole full picture of what's going on with your sales order whenever you're dealing with a partial shipment. This particular sales order have 3 lines, and one line, particularly this item, is already has 10 quantity. It's already invoiced, already delivered. Okay. So the other 2 are yet to be delivered, and they are still on order in the sales order line. So if I now go back, it's not that the deliver now work for just one line and delivering it. It will also work partially for multiple lines. Let's say I want to partially deliver 5 and 5 each of first line and the last line, because the second line is fulfilled completely. So it's also possible to put 5 and 5 here and just save it. Now confirm it. Post the picking list, and change it to deliver now. So you will have only 2 lines which are 5 5 each. Then just post it. Okay, so now I'm registering these. There's 2 lines here for this registration. Sorry, just update all. So as soon as you update all, you will see that the registration is refreshed, and you see only 1 line here. Don't get confused, since there are multiple registrations, right? The system by default opens the first registration that you have done. So if you're confused, if you go to the grid view, you will see both the registration that have happened. The 5-7 is for the first line, the middle line that we have registered, and 5-8 is the last line that we registered for the partial quantity. Okay, so this is done. Now let's post the packing slip for the delivery. Okay, so let me just not print anything to the screen. So that's done. And you see that there are multiple delivery packing slips, and likewise you're going to generate an invoice which is pointing to the packing slip, and in that case it's only 2 lines, and then just go and say okay. So two items invoice. So if you check the invoice now, you will find 2 items here, right? So now if you go and check the general tab and line quantity, you will see that this is completely fulfilled, but this one only 5 is invoiced, 5 is invoiced, delivered. There are remaining 5 in the first line and then the third line. Let's now go ahead and process the first line. So you don't need to always necessarily give deliver now here. If you want to deal with a partial shipment, it is also possible that you go directly to the picking list. System will by default give you like two lines, right? Up and down. So what you can do is, let's say you want to partially ship, right? So I'm just going to delete this line and only ship this one. So I can even do the correction in the picking list form. So I'm just not printing the picking list. I'm just going to directly go and register it. So out of two reminder, first and last, I'm only going to deliver one line out of it. So the picking list registration will also be pointing to the 5 quantity. So update all, and that's completed, and you will see in the grid view there are 3 registration that have happened. And now let's do the packing slip posting. Okay, the packing slip is posted. You see there are 3 packing slips. So with this delivery, I'm not going to invoice because I know that I'm going to also immediately deliver the next quantity on the same day, let's say for example. So in this scenario, I can just directly go and post the picking list. I don't need to change anything. I can simply keep it as all, because system knows that there is only one line with a delivery reminder left for now. So I can just go and directly post this picking list as a separate shipment, and then register it. Update all. Now let's post the packing slip. It's only one and it's posted. So we have posted last 2 packing slip, but we haven't invoiced them, right? So if you check that, last 2 are, at the moment there is no delivery reminder. Delivered is everything is delivered, but the invoice reminder is this and this. We did ship them as a 2 separate packing slip, but they are now, that's why delivered, but they need to be invoiced. So we did see that we create a separate packing slip and then we invoiced, separate packing slip and then we invoiced. It is also possible that you can create multiple packing slip together, and together you can invoice to create one invoice where all the packing slips gets consolidated, right? So that's what we are going to do now. So meaning we are going to try to invoice it. So in this invoice, there will be 2 different packing slip available, right? So that's the reason why under the packing slip section, you will find multiple as an option and you don't find a packing slip number. For a normal invoice with 1 packing slip, you will find a packing slip number, but in this case, you have multiple packing slips, as you can see. This and this. This packing slip is having roof rack. This packing slip is having another item. That's the reason why there is a multiple that's displayed while you're trying to invoice. So let's say that I'm invoicing it and say okay. And there are 2 items, even though they are part of different shipments, but they are consolidated in one invoice report, and there's only one invoice that got generated as per both the shipments. So now if I go and check the item quantity, you will see that all the item quantities are now delivered, invoiced. Okay, so this is just a one quick example of how we can deal with multiple shipments and multiple shipment but one invoice. But there are a lot more scenarios that are possible. We will be covering all of them in future in the same video series, so keep watching, guys. So apart from this, maybe I want to give you some quick tricks related with the sales order processing. So if you know, or if you're already aware, uh, there are only two customers that we have created so far. So let's say that customer. It's also possible to insert a notes into a customer. So if you go here, so let's say notes, and let's keep it as customer notes. So I'm putting a comment, I'm putting a notes. Let me make it as external as well. I'm saving it. So this is something that I'm doing it on a customer master data. Likewise, it is also possible that you go to the sales and marketing, release products, and if you go to the, let's say, alloy wheel, and you're trying to add a note to it. Say item notes. Let's keep it as fast moving item. Let's say, for example, there is a note that I have written for the item as well. So under the customer, we have ability to add a note. Under the item, we have a ability to add a note. So if you now go and create a sales order, I should make sure that I choose the customer with the notes. So that one. And if I go to the sales order, you see that in the sales order, there's no attachment here, meaning the notes is not copied from a customer, even though the sales order is associated with the customer. So let's say you have a requirement where you have a special notes against a particular customer and maybe a particular item, and you want that notes also to be kind of an attachment within a sales order. In such situation, what you can do is you can come to the accounts receivable parameters, and under the general tab, you can enable this particular parameter, copy notes when transferring to the sales order. After saving the parameters, if I go to the sales order again and create a sales order, let's choose this customer that is having the attachment, and if I go in, now I'll see that the notes is automatically, the notes of the customer, which is regular customers, automatically also transferred into the sales order. Okay, yeah, there's a note. So likewise, you can also add an item. Which item that was? I think this one. I'm not sure whether this or this. Let's check. So yeah, the item notes, which is fast moving item, is also copied into the sales order. Both the notes from the customer and the item, both of them are copied over to the sales order from the relevant master data. So that is the significance of transfer to the sales order parameter that you are having within the parameter section. So now that you have this all notes, so it is also possible that, for example, if you go into the accounts receivable form notes, we already noticed it and created some notes for the purchase order process. Similarly, even for the sales order process, let's say it is a sales order confirmation, because I already have a sales order which is ready to confirm. So let me use a confirmation, and let's copy the same terms and conditions. Let's just change it to SO must be delivered within 7 days after the confirmation, let's say that's a term, and that's when the sales order gets confirmed, right? So what you can do is, once you have this in the form notes and you have saved it, or maybe there's a spelling mistake. Okay, let me save it and close it. And go to the sales order that was just open. So that, I think that's the last one. Let's say that I'm confirming it. Yeah, let's print it as well. So when the confirmation is printed to the screen, you will see that the terms and condition and the form notes are also copied into the confirmation. Likewise, you can do it for invoice report, packing slip report, for any customer facing report. You can do populate some comments from the form notes section, guys. So these are some of the additional areas related, or some of the important areas as a beginner everyone should know and utilize all of this feature in your customer implementation. So that's it for today, guys. More on the sales order basics and more on the sales order different scenarios you will be seeing in the forthcoming videos. Thank you for watching this video, guys.